Being lonely for long periods of time can negatively affect our mental health and can make it even harder to connect. It can cause sleep problems, pain, and depression, and anyone can experience loneliness. But there are things that you can do to cope and prevent negative feelings for mental health problems. Counselor Valencia Jones is here to talk about loneliness and ways how to cope. Valencia, thank you for being here today. As always, tell me, who can experience loneliness and why does it come on?
Well, anyone can experience loneliness. It's not an age restriction or race or anything like that. There are two types of loneliness. Let me start with that. There's a type of loneliness when there's no one around physically, but there's a type of loneliness when you're surrounded by people, but yet you feel I haven't actually connected with anyone.
Oh, I love the way that you put that. Okay, and what's the second one?
That is the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first one is when there's no one around. But the second one is when you're surrounded by people, but yet you haven't actually connected with anyone.
Okay, how do we break through that when we're around other individuals? What does that look like?
That's when you go to work and you have a coworker, but yet they hardly ever interact. They never go out after work.
Okay.
They don't really talk about friends or family because they probably live alone and don't have a connection with family, and so they now don't have a connection at work.
Okay, what things can trigger loneliness to suddenly come on?
Well, it can be, number one, when nobody's around, or is you start to slip into a depression where all of a sudden you're surrounded by people, but you're starting to withdraw. You're starting not to accept any invitation. You don't want to talk on the phone. Those things can trigger it.
Okay, and loneliness doesn't always look the same person to person, does it?
No, absolutely not.
What are the different ways that it can come, and what are the different ways that it can look like?
It can look like someone who's antisocial or a shy person, but it can also look like someone who just suddenly withdrew within themselves, and now they're acting different. They were very bright and vibrant, and now all of a sudden they're withdrawn and they're not talking much, they're not coming out with you guys, they don't want to socialize, and that's when you start to notice something is going on here.
So that might be a lot easier for individuals who are extroverted when we see those people kind of, come back into their shells and they're not trying to talk anymore. What about for individuals who are introverts and they're more shy? How do we tell with them if they're experiencing loneliness?
It would take the people who are closest to them, because they don't talk very often. They don't have a wide variety of friends. But if you're close to them, if it's your sibling or your daughter or somebody that you're really close to, you can notice that, hey, this person is talking less and less when usually they talk to me. If you're that person that they're best friends and all of a sudden they're not speaking to you anymore, they are now experiencing some loneliness.
What are some things that could be beneficial for our mental health as we go through seasons of loneliness, if we come into a season with loneliness?
Do you want to get out and start experiencing life with people? At the very least, join an online community so you can at least talk to people and type to people and video with people. That's the very basic step, but if you can, start answering phone calls or reaching out to people who you previously talked to, start talking to them, and then start answering invitations to go places. Don't just isolate yourself off. Remember, this is temporary. This is not going to last forever.
Why do you think that community is so important to human beings? Why do you think we gravitate towards that?
Because we need each other. Well, a community is a bunch of different people who serve different functions in the community, but we are all needed. And when one person is taken away from that, the community suffers, because we need you to be here. You are worthy. You are important to the whole. And don't ever dismiss that. You are important to the whole community. One person is taken away, we're all affected.
What type of advice, Valencia, do you have for individuals who suspect that maybe their coworker is going through one of these seasons? How do we reach out and how do we connect? I know for a lot of time for different people it can feel awkward or uncomfortable if you don't know that person. Real quick, could you be able to tell me how to break the ice on that?
The first thing is just smile. Just make it warm and friendly so that you're letting them know, hey, I'm approachable, I'm here. Ask them how they're doing, but ask how are you really doing. When they give you the obligatory, I'm fine, say no, how are you really doing? That one question can just open the floodgates.
I love that, Valencia. I truly do love that, of actually asking somebody how they are and then digging deeper. Why are you just fine? Why are you I love that. Thank you so much, Valencia, for being here and for helping us today.